everyone. I'm going to do the follow-up to my tarot collection deck video, and this is going to be all of my oracle decks video. And hopefully the sound is going to be better this time. I think I have it figured out now, but I'm going to be checking as I go this time, so if it's really quiet, I can record over it, or even just record over it in the movie editor. I'll start with my ones that I don't keep in their boxes anymore. So I'm starting with my mega deck, and these are all of my decks from Paolo Barbieri. Really like his art style. So the decks that I have are Star Dragons, Fantasy Cats Oracle, and Unicorns. And these illustrations are everything. They are so beautiful. The thing that's hard about this is that I don't like the guidebook. Like, I don't like the descriptions that are put in for each card, even though I love the cards. I think this is the, oh no, this is still unicorns. Unicorn, like, it's so pretty. It's another dragon one. Unicorn. I'm trying to get to a cat, so I can show you guys one of the cats. Yeah, that's still unicorn. Here, this one's a cat. And I saw that he actually just, well, I just saw for the first time a fairies deck from him. And so I'm kind of tempted to get it, but I'm also kind of not, because, like I said, I don't use these cards because I don't really like the meanings. So I've thought about, like, just not using the books anymore, but then it just feels, I don't know. Does anyone have that problem where you like the deck but you don't like the guidebook? I feel like it's not a big deal if it's a tarot deck, but for an oracle deck, I feel like it is a big deal. Oh, this is another one of my favorite ones. This is a dragon one, but I love that card. Alright, stop there. Oh, and then here's another cat card. That one's pretty funny. Okay, on to the next. So next I have my Kim Krans Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I absolutely love this deck. I will say I don't use it often, because every time that I have used it, the responses that I've gotten have all been extremely intense. Like, I think I've cried every time I've used this deck, and I mean, it's been like good things, but I have to be in a certain state of mind, and also I feel like I have to have the right question to ask for this deck. I don't know, I just really respect it and would definitely recommend this one for like more of your bigger questions. I'm trying to see one card that I really like. Well, I really like the womb and the seed. Yeah, this is one of my favorite cards in the whole deck. Oh, and there's another one, the warrior. I mean, you guys have all probably seen these by now. Oh, the sword. I really like this one too. So that is the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. Next, I have these small travel size cards from Total Divine. She's on Etsy, and she has all different kinds of themed little decks like this, and they're all basically word prompts. So the green one is the Manifest deck, and so it has lots of affirmations like this one. Oops, it's a little dirty. The universe will always take care of me financially as I continue to do good. This is the Triggers deck, and it says defensiveness. Hear other people's perspectives and feelings. Shift your focus to them. It's not always about you. So it's literally, it's like meant to trigger you. And then this is the Inner Child Oracle. So in the past, friends walked out of your life without reason. Now you understand people have their own journey and not to internalize their pain. And so I just keep this. Well, there we go. I just keep these jumbled in a little, like, decorative drawer that I have, and I'll just randomly pull either one or two usually. I usually leave it out for at least a day, because sometimes I get the trigger ones and I'm like, I'm not triggered by that, but then I feel like maybe I am, and that's why I need to spend more time with it. So, demanding. When displayed, you're most likely making the other person feel inferior. Check your anxiety and depression. So, I mean, like, it's good just to have these out as a reminder. Wealth and prosperity flow easily to me. And so it doesn't really matter if they're upside down or not, because I just jumble them up anyway, and I pick randomly. But yeah, I want to get some more, actually. She has so many different ones. There's like a healed jealousy, there's a grief one, there's self-love, all kinds. So that is the Total Divine Mega Deck. I guess this is actually another Mega Deck. And the last one I have that I do not keep in its box anymore is the Bird Messages Oracle. Go through some of these cards. I have mixed feelings about this deck. Like, on one hand, I haven't really used it enough to have an opinion. But on the other hand, I feel like it's kind of random. Like, anytime when I ask it questions, like, the answers, or the cards that I get in response just seem totally out of left field, don't really make sense in the context of my question. This is another one where the guidebook, I feel like, doesn't really give you that much help. I mean, it is in color, which is nice. It gives you some information about the bird that's on the card, so that's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's another one that the meanings just don't really resonate with me. I guess that's one way to put it. But I do like the cards. I just don't know how, like, that one's nice. I don't know how long I'll be hanging on to this deck, but I'm going to keep it at least for a little while longer. So yeah, that is the Bird Messages Oracle. This is my newest Oracle deck, the Britney Spears Oracle. I wanted this for so long. I mean, it only came out, I don't know, like a couple months ago maybe. But I've been wanting it, and then I didn't get it. I was being good. I didn't spend my money, but then I got paid, and I decided it's finally time to get this. Obviously, I'm a huge Britney Spears fan, and so it has this little Britney Spears Oracle guidebook that is in full color. And the descriptions are actually, like, I mean, maybe you have to be a Britney Spears fan to appreciate it, but I thought that the cards have nice meanings. I'll do that later. These are the cards themselves. So here's the back. There's no special edging, it's just normal. There's some cards, and they're honestly pretty nice quality. Like, I like the quality of these. It's matte, I think, and they don't feel so flimsy. This is also great because I've been Britney Spears for like multiple Halloweens, and now I have more inspiration for if and when I want to be her next time. The iconic Baby One More Time. She's so lucky. Like, these cards are just so fun. I just really, oh yeah, the badass. This is from her Womanizer video. Yeah, I love these cards. I'm so glad I finally got them. They were only like $15 too. And for that price, I feel very happy with this purchase. Next, there is the Universal Folk Oracle by Anita Inverarity. This is another deck that I really enjoy, although I haven't used it that much yet. So here's the back, so pretty. And then here's the fronts. It just has like a keyword and then a few, or I guess one main word and then a few keywords. This is the warrior, where I was thinking, in the Archetypes deck. But I really like this card. And so all of these like little beings have animals with them, and you'll see the vast majority of my decks are animal related, and so I really like this one because it's one of the few that I feel like does a good job of integrating people and animals. Although I don't see an animal in this one. I thought that they have animals in all of them, but maybe it's just most of them. But yeah, these are just like really interesting little people. I like the drawings. Like, see, they're not really humans, they're kind of aliens, but I do really like this deck. Uniqueness, lobster claws. So that is the Universal Folk Oracle, and this deck I did really appreciate the guidebook. It is in color also. Next, this is one of my newest decks from Threads of Fate. It's the Eventide. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's just a little affirmations deck, into the shining spaces within, and really cool design inside the box. And then the cards themselves have holographic black edging, and then just a holographic surface as well. And they're just affirmations, just like what it says. They have little different drawings on them. My potential is infinite. I'm safe to do my heart's work in the world. I give voice to my darkness, empowering myself to transmute it. Yeah, sometimes they're kind of hard to read, but I do like this deck because I realized I wanted something that can kind of like wrap up a reading in a nice way, like put a positive note on whatever the reading was at the end. So yeah, I have only used this deck like once or twice. There's no guidebook or anything. Cards are pretty self-explanatory, and they're really nice quality too. So I do like it so far. What if things go better than I expect? Such a great question. I can trust things will unfold the way that they should. So that is the Eventide. Let's say it like that. Eventide deck. And again, there's the back. Next up is another Threads of Fate deck. This one is the Lumen edition of their Oracle. So here's the guidebook. Gorgeous. Yeah, this is black and white. And then the cards, as you can see right away, have the beautiful gold gilding. And then there's the backs again. And then the cards are also gorgeous. They're holographic all across the front, and then they have the gold detailing. So they all only have one keyword, but I've come to really like the Threads of Fate guidebooks. Like, I really like the one for the tarot. I haven't used this one as much, but like the tarot one, sometimes I'll use just for any deck that I use in a reading. I'll grab that book because I just enjoy it. Yeah, you can see how bright it can get. But yeah, this deck is so pretty. I love the rainbow, and then you get the gold in the right light. Ask body. So yeah, I think Threads of Fate Threads of Fate is a great brand. Really like supporting them because they make great quality products. Yep. Now for a deck that I think everybody has seen, if you pay any attention to these sort of topics, is the Moonology deck. And this is another one that I have come to really appreciate as like a staple in my deck collection. I used to not like it very much, but I realize now that it gives pretty straightforward answers, and now I've come to appreciate that if I just want to do like a really quick reading. So you guys have probably seen, but here's some. Oops, sorry, that's my dog coughing. Benji, are you okay? He is a senior citizen and he's kind of deaf. So, here are the cards. And the cardstock on this is so nice too. Like this was one of my first decks, so I didn't appreciate it initially. now that I've like tried out so many, I now really appreciate this card quality. I believe this is just black and white, yeah. Black and white guidebook. Another pretty common deck, but one that I also really adore is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. I feel like the cardstock of these is really similar to the Moonology. I don't know if they're both published from the same person. Oh yeah, they are. They're both from Hay House. So this is what the backs look like. And then here are the front. There are just so many amazing cards in this deck. And I've spent a lot of time just flipping through all the cards and looking at all the ancestors and angels in the deck. And I feel like they're all really powerful. This is kind of like the Archetypes deck where I don't use this for like silly, whimsical things. Like this is more of a serious deck for me. Just because I do feel like the messages are so powerful. Yeah, I remember reading the guidebook and like in the introduction part of it, oh, I love this card. I think she's so pretty. Yeah, the intro in the guidebook tells you not to, don't use this deck if you've been drinking. And sometimes I would want to just like have a beer and like hang out with my cards, but it literally like said not to do that. So I was like, okay, guess not. So ever since then, I don't know, I just treat this deck a little more seriously. And then here's the guidebook, black and white. It is a really great guidebook though. Now I have another Archetype deck. This one is from Carolyn Myss. These are her Archetype cards. I really enjoy these as well. Although again, just haven't used them as much as I want to. So for each archetype, there's shadow and light attributes, which makes the most sense in my opinion. Like, there's no purely good type of person. Like, there's always a good side and a bad side to anything. So I just think this makes the most sense. And there's a really cool exercise in the beginning of the guidebook that I started on. I haven't followed up on it in a while, but basically it tells you to go through and identify. It says that like all people have the same like core archetypes. There's these 4 that are common to everyone, and then it tells you to go through the rest of the deck and find other archetypes that you feel like they apply to you. And so you just go through the deck and like, you know, it was just a good exercise to like get to know the deck a little bit better. And I forget which ones I chose. I think I wrote them down in the book. Okay, yeah, so the one that everyone has is they have all these different child archetypes. So there's the wounded child, abandoned, innocent, nature, eternal, dependent. So everyone has one type of child archetype. Everyone also has the victim archetype, and then the saboteur. I don't know if that's how you say it. The prostitute. So yeah, you each have child, victim, saboteur, and prostitute. Just select 8 more to fill out your intimate support group of 12 archetypes. Yeah, so I think I did mark all of mine in here. So yeah, I need to come back to this deck some more. It's definitely like, I don't know, I just have enjoyed it so far. Okay, so here is the Angels Among Us deck. I just saw they have now a Goddesses Among Us deck, and I really want that one, but I need to start using this one more first because I haven't really used it like at all. I got it because I watch Esotero here on YouTube, and she uses this deck a lot, or she used to, and I always loved these cards in her reading. So I finally figured out what deck it was, and like the hot pink edging is just so me. There's the back, and then here's a couple of the cards. I don't really work with archangels at all, but that's why I liked this deck, because it's like a modern twist on all of them. And I mean, I'm guessing it's intentional, but a lot of these like archangels look like celebrities. Like that one looks like Beyonce. This reminds me of Kit Harington, Jon Snow. I always think that him. And then I'm sure there's others too. But yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but some of them really look like... Oh, this looks like the guy from You. I don't know his name. But that series on Netflix, You, he looks like that guy. So, yeah. That kind of looks like Britney Murphy. So yeah, again, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but definitely something I noticed in this deck. And then here's the guidebook. It is in color. So this is my last of my non-animal focused decks. All the rest have to do with animals, but this one does have a cool snake there. This is the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. And I was instantly drawn to this deck. Ordered it right away as soon as I saw it, because I'm a sucker for some nice gilded edges. And I did have the Rose Oracle, which had red gilding on the edges, and like it's already kind of like chipped off, but I don't care. I really didn't connect with that deck at all, so I sold that one, and now I have this one that I haven't used, but I want to. It's just really cool, and I like this more dark side because I don't have really any other decks like this. Kraken, Medusa. I love anything like Medusa themed. So, Cerberus. The cards are really cool, so I'm excited to use this a bit more. Oh, and then the guidebook, I think. Yeah, guidebook has color. I lied. I actually have one more non-animal themed deck. This is the Wisdom of Hafiz, and it's by Daniel Ladinsky, Silas, Toball, and Angi, Sullins. Guidebook is in color. I really like the guidebook. It's helpful, but it's not too lengthy, as you can see. It's just like a little bit to add on. It always has a quote, I think, from Hafiz on it. I think they're quotes from... Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think it is quotes from Hafiz directly. And then the cards are really slippery. They have a really gorgeous gold gilding. Like I said, I'm a sucker. And then they're just super pretty. I don't know what it is about these illustrations, but I just really enjoy them a lot. Trying to find one of my favorite cards. There's one that has horses on it. Right, that one. And there's an elephant one. Oh yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. Take action card. Whoops. Where's the other? Oh yeah, keep the faith. Little Asian elephant. And I love these cards. They're really nice to shuffle as well. Just kind of slide so nicely. I'm not the best card shuffler, but these ones make me feel like I am. Okay, now we're on to the animal decks for real. So this is the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. This one's really cool because it comes with a spread that you can use. This thing, I'm not going to unfold it right now, but It has a big spread on it. You can use lots of cards. These are the cards themselves. I have to say I didn't love this card stock as much because it is just really big and it's also really flimsy. So I'm not in love with the card stock, but I do really like all the illustrations. I like that you don't really have to use the guidebook because this is a pretty long message for each card. And they have some mythical animals, like I think there's a unicorn, and then it's mostly real animals though. So I have to laugh because literally I think every animal deck that I've seen that has a horse, the keyword is always freedom. It's just funny. And then the guidebook, I think, is black and white. Yep. Next up is The Secret Language of Animals Oracle Cards by Chip Richards. Hopefully you guys can see the author names because I haven't been very consistent about including them. But black and white guidebook. This is my animal deck that I've used probably the least. And still, like, I only really flipped through it the one time. So I need to get to know this deck a little bit better. But I do really like this card stock. It's more matte and sturdier. And then here are some of the cards. So really pretty drawings or paintings, I guess, maybe. And there's some unique animals too, which I appreciate. You don't see in like every deck. These ones are another that feels like they just feel nice in your hands. The albatross, like it has some unique animals, so I do really like that. And gonna definitely make a point to use this some more. Who are you? You got stuck at the bottom there. Gecko. How like a gecko to be stuck onto something. And now we go to probably my most used animal deck, which is the one by Colette Baron-Reid. This is the Spirit Animal Oracle. And this deck is just so good. It was my first Oracle deck, and I just have gotten so many nice readings from it. It always just like has the exact thing I need to hear. It's so crazy. And I also like that the guidebook does have reversed meanings, so that's why some of the cards are reversed. But yeah, it's like the animals themselves, but embellished a little bit to the spirit form, so they're like, you can obviously tell what animal it is, but they're just a bit more striking, I guess, than your typical version on Earth that you would see. And yeah, I use this deck so many times, but I did notice I start to get the same cards a lot, to the point where I like went through and was like, okay, how many cards are there that I haven't gotten? And I realized like I haven't gotten the majority of these cards, so I don't know what it is, but I just pulled the same cards a lot. So yeah, I haven't used this in a long time because I've gotten so many new decks, but I definitely want to make more time for this deck. Maybe that will help with the pulling the same cards as if I just clear it and maybe do like a new deck interview, just check in. And then black and white guidebook, but there is the protection message there, which is another way to say this is the reversed meaning. Next, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle by Kim Krans. So here's this one. Here's the backs, and then the fronts. I really liked this deck when I first got it, but just now that I've gotten more, it's not my favorite. The one thing that really bothers me in the guidebook is she says that, like, the first few animals in every sequence are meant to represent, like, the lower animal, or, like, less fully, I don't know what she says, but just meaning, like, they're inferior to the animals higher up, which are always, like, big mammals. And I just felt like that's so subjective, and also I don't agree with her assessment of these animals a lot of the time. So I haven't used it as much just because that part of the guidebook, like, bugs me. But I do really like the cards. I don't know, I was considering decluttering this deck, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I do like the deck itself, especially for, like, these other animals, because those are just, you know, whatever she says, but I just don't agree with her assessments of some of the other animals. So, yeah, not a really common deck, but it is a good one. I'm gonna, I don't know, I think part of me just wants to have, like, every spirit animal deck, so it doesn't make sense to declutter one. Now we have the Spirit Animal Wisdom 50 card deck and guidebook. Oh, I forgot to say that the Kim Krans one does have a guidebook. It's just, I don't keep it with the deck because it's really big and bulky. So, here are these cards. Here's the back. Kind of unique. And then guidebook is pretty short and sweet. Black and white, and then here are the cards. So maybe I need to read the guidebook more closely, but I don't know why certain signs are attributed to each animal. And when I first got this deck, I, like, divvied them all up to see if, like, there was even equal amounts, and there was not at all. There was, like, I think 2 that were just fire. All the rest of the fire were, like, combined with another sign, and then by far the most common signs were, like, air and earth together. And so I don't know what and earth alone also had a lot. There's just way more earth than any other sign in here, so I don't know how they came to their conclusions about what sign goes with what animal, but clearly they like earth animals. Or the earth sign for animals. Because, I mean, if you think about it, every animal should be an earth sign. But maybe I'm just biased because I'm an earth sign. I just repositioned the camera because you guys have been looking at my dirty dog steps. Those are for my senior dog, Benji, who I was just talking about a minute ago. I just have them for him for when he wants to come up on the bed. And so I set them out for him because he can't jump up and down anymore. Anyways, go ahead, we'll start now again with the Divine Dog Wisdom cards. So, I love this deck and the cat one that's coming up next. I don't really see it in a lot of people's collections, which is kind of surprising to me because these cards are so sweet. And the guidebook is actually really, really good as well. These cards also, these are ones where sometimes I don't understand how the card is related to my question, but when I read the guidebook, it actually makes sense. Like, that's happened, especially with this card, Humility. This was the one, especially when I read the guidebook, and it made so much sense. And the guidebook also has, like, little journaling prompts. Bloodhound. Like, these cards are just so cute. This card a lot. So, whereas the Paolo Barbieri ones, the guidebook really gives me nothing, these are an instance where the card still confuses me sometimes, but the guidebook is so helpful. Companionship. So, yeah, this is a great deck. I'm surprised more people don't use it. The card stock is a little weird. It like sticks together really bad. And then that's the back. I love to use that deck with my Cosmic Cat Wisdom cards. So, oh, I forgot to show you the guidebook. Darn it. Well, you'll just have to take my word for it, but it's good. So here's the back of the cat cards. And then these are also just like, it's weird because, okay, yeah, this is from the same people. Barb Horn and Randy Crutcher, and then designed by Teresa Shishim. So they did both of these decks, and that's why they're like the exact same style. And again, same thing for this deck. I haven't used it as much as the dogs, because it's newer to me than the dogs, but again, look at it, so funny. I just love these cards. They make me so happy. These are good when I'm looking for something a little more lighthearted, even though sometimes they're they're more real with me than I would want them to be. Like sometimes I'm just looking for like I don't know, just something positive, and then I'll get like release. It's like, damn it, I don't want to do soul searching right now. I just want a cute card. So this is another one where sometimes I'll even just use the cards without the guidebook. But I've always enjoyed it when I do read the guidebook. Like it's always helped with the reading. Here's the Cosmic Cat guidebook, orange color. And so you have like a nice amount of information. Yeah, they give you other thoughts to stock in the cat's one. In the dog's ones, it's like another bone to chew on or something. It's just a really cute deck. Okay, Divine Feather Messenger Oracle. This is another one where I was influenced by YouTubers to get, not like they told me to buy it. Guidebook's just like simple black and white. Just that I would always see it on Vanessa Samina's channel, and I always just, like, they just looked so pretty with the one feather of each card. And so I was influenced, not because she like said to get it, just because it always just looked so pretty. And so those are some of the feathers, and then on the front you see what bird that feather belongs to. And these meanings I do like these. Initially I wasn't super drawn to use it again, but I gave it a couple more tries and I actually do like it a lot more now. I wonder if it's maybe that I'm not drawn to birds. Not that it's the cards, just that birds themselves I'm not as drawn to, but I do love ravens. Oh yeah, that is the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle. Alright, we are getting towards the end. So this deck, The Way of the Horse, Equine Archetypes for Self-Discovery, by Linda Kohanov and Kim McElroy. You guys, let me start with the good. This guidebook is amazing. Like, they could honestly just sell this book alone, and I think people would buy it. Last night, I was just reading through the introduction before any of the cards, and honestly, I might even reread it because there was just so much information there. This author, and I think the artist as well, maybe, definitely the author, like, she rides horses and has her own, and so she comes at it from that perspective, but she also talks about how useful, like, working with horses is for people that don't have any experience with them. And so for the book alone, like, without considering the cards, this is awesome. But when it comes to the cards, there is a lot to be desired here. And it's really such a shame because these cards are gorgeous, but they're horrible quality. They're just like so paper thin, And then I noticed last night that all of them are printed like off balance. Here, let me just get one so you can see it better. But see how it's crooked, where it's like wider at this end than at this end, and then it's narrower at this end than at this end. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on the camera, but yeah, in here it's narrower than it gets wide. I'm so disappointed because this deck was like $35 too, and I just feel like for a deck that expensive, and when the cards are like this gorgeous, why would you not just make sure that everything's okay? Look how pretty these are, and it just kills me that they're on such terrible cardstock and that like care wasn't given to the printing. These horses deserved better. So it is disappointing in that aspect, but try and just look at the bright side. Read the book. I think the book has a lot of really awesome information, even regardless of using this deck as an oracle or not. I think the book is a really good read. Yeah, that is the Way of the Horse, Equine Archetypes. Yeah, note to the author, if she ever sees this, please put them on nicer cardstock. These horses deserve it. Next, Whispers of the Ocean, another animal deck. So the guidebook for this one is black and white, but again, this is a good guidebook. I actually really enjoy that they spend a good amount of information actually explaining what the animal is, and they give like some information about it. I really like, because I'm not as familiar with sea animals as I am with land animals, and so a lot of these animals, like the fish especially, I have no idea what they are. Well, seahorse I know, but okay, all these ones I do know, but they do have some kind of more obscure fish. Like this one's just talking about jellyfish, the nautilus. Yeah, parrotfish, I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not showing, yeah, the clown triggerfish is another. But as far as like the card or interpretations themselves, like these little key messages here, I don't know. I feel like this is another deck that's kind of random sometimes, and it doesn't seem like it wants to answer the questions that I ask. And so I need to think of like, I feel like I'm not asking it the right kinds of questions. Like I don't know what the right kind are, but that's why I just feel like I'm not asking the right ones, because the answers just don't really make sense. And like they don't even seem related. But I also haven't used this one in a while, so maybe I just need to try it again and see. And then there's the back. Okay, this has to be probably the cutest deck that I own. The Garden Dragons Oracle. So, just, I don't think I really need to say that much. Just look at these. I love the artwork. Like, it's so creative. Each of these dragons is like a garden vegetable or fruit, and so the artist like drew them as those, drew them like as those different fruits and vegetables. Like this is a broccoli dragon, cranberry dragon. They each have a keyword on them. I like the watermelon dragon a lot. Pineapple, tea dragon. I think there's a coffee one too. Radish. Lemon lime. Like, these are just so cute to me. Pepper dragon is 3 heads. Yeah, there's the coffee dragon. I love that one. The back of the cards. And the guidebook is also really cute. Like, let's see, for the coffee dragon. So you get the keyword, you get a description of the appearance. So with dorsal spines so fine they look like foam, this animal is a deep brown with oval scales. Each scale bears a slight groove that is offset from the scale above and below it. Cream-colored paws are tipped with matching nails. The young coffee dragon is actually born a pale green that morphs into a dull red before the adult cocoa brown hue appears. Habitat. Usually you'll find this creature in high mountain ranges where bushes grow. Also, they are attracted to hot tubs, hot springs, any place that offers steamy water. There is an unusually large population in the Seattle, Washington area, which is where Starbucks is. This exquisite flyer is also an expert swimmer who enjoys hot water over cold. Field notes. There are several varieties, including the cafe, I don't know how to say that, and the espresso. Strangely, the coffee dragons all go through the same color as juveniles, so it is best to wait for the mature coloration before confidently identifying and classifying the adults. And then you have a mystical meaning. So the mystical meaning is that the coffee dragon is not always friendly, as it prefers to agitate and stir things up. One nip from this nut brown creature can stimulate the blood to a pleasing level of activity, but too much can cause heart palpitations along with a vague irritability. When this dragon turns up, you should look at your own energy levels. Do you need to kick it up a notch, or is it time to chill out? So, I mean, I just think the creativity that went into this deck is amazing, because they went through and, like, described all of these animals as if they're true animals you would find out in the field, and, like, especially the descriptions will, like, bring my eye to things I wouldn't have noticed before, like the swirls here, cream-colored pads and nails. Like, it's just so well done. Again, this is another one I'm surprised I don't see more often. But, yep, that is the Field Guide to Garden Dragons, artwork by Stanley Morrison and written by Arwen Lynch. We are down to the final 3. So I'll do another dragon one first. This, I also really love this deck. This is the Enchanted Blossoms deck, Carla Morrow. So we have the book here, black and white. And so this is kind of a similar concept, I guess, as the Garden Dragons, but here all the dragons are different types of butterflies, and then there's also a flower on each card. And then they have the keyword there. So yeah, the plant is fennel, and the type of butterfly is the black swallowtail. This is another one I haven't used in a long time, so I kind of forget. But I really like this cardstock. I think I just prefer matte cardstock overall. It just feels nicer. I just really like these illustrations. I think they're so creative. Although I will say with this deck, some of them start to look the same after a little while, but I don't really care that much. So yeah, let's go ahead and see this. We'll look up truth. I think they're in alphabetical order. Yep. So it says the flower is the bittersweet nightshade, and it gives a scientific name, and then the butterfly is the morning cloak, and also gives the scientific name. And then, yeah, it looks like it gives you actual information about the plant and the butterfly. And then it looks like the last paragraph is the one that actually is like the oracle part of the card. So I do really enjoy this deck. And then I guess this is also can be like a journaling prompt if you want to. I normally just think about them. I don't normally use this for journaling. The one thing that is not that great about this deck is the backs. They're just could have been better. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, now we have the Pegasus Oracle. Again, I'm a little disappointed by this one. Just a little bit, like, juvenile, I feel like, which is kind of rich for me to say that when you look at the context of this whole video, but they're just, it's like, I think it's too, like, sunshine and butterflies vibes. Like, you know, I felt like it could have been a little bit darker, but it just is all glowy, positive, happy. And I know some people like that in their cards, but I guess I just like having like a more realistic outline. But again, I haven't really used it. This is a newer deck for me. But yeah, I think the other thing too is I don't love the illustrations. Like they're almost like too cartoony for me. I wish, yeah, like the expression and everything, I wish they were a little bit less cartoony, like you'll see in the next deck, which I really like. So this one especially looks so strange. Yeah, that one has a really weird face. So yeah, I think it's more so the drawings that turn me off from this. But I need to just try using it more. So that is the Pegasus Oracle. Oh, and then the guidebook. Black and white. Back of the cards. Like that. The last one, finally. Oracle of the Unicorns. I really, really like this deck. So, if I can open it. So, here are the backs, the cards, and here are the cards. So, these for me, I just like a lot better than the Pegasus because they're obviously still drawings, like they're not real horses, but they just look so much more realistic to me than do the, like this looks like it could be a real horse, but it just has a horn on it. And then this one's obviously more fantasy, same here with this one, but then again this one looks like a real horse, plus a beard and a horn. So I definitely prefer the realistic looking ones to the overly cartoony Pegasus one. I don't know. It just depends. Because then at other times I like really cartoony dragons like those garden dragons. So, I don't know. But I just love this deck. This is another one where I pull the same cards a lot. And I don't know why. Like, there's so many cards that I don't get. And I want to. But, yeah, I love this card. And this one too. That one reminds me of Spirit, the horse cartoon movie. And then there's one that reminds me of me and my horse. We might have already, well, this one looks like my horse. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. I love this horse. The unicorn, I mean. That might have been the one I was thinking. No, this is it. Yeah, this reminds me of me and my horse. So I like this card a lot, and I have gotten it a lot too, but past lives I don't really ever think about. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm not saying this to be mean or to put anyone down, but to me they just seem fake. Like, how do you actually know your past life? Like, I don't know. It just seems like I don't understand how you can know for certain that you did or were something in your past life. So the card itself, like the meaning, I don't love, but I love it because it reminds me of me and my horse. Alright, so that is all of my Oracle decks. That was a lot. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.